Hello guys, welcome back to the channel, welcome to another film review. Now this week I've been doing what's called my prison week, and I've looked at a film called Prison, and then I looked at Chopper. Then I watched Bronson, but I really didn't like it. I just thought I'm not going to waste my time to review it. I know a lot of people really rate the film and think it's great, but I didn't like it. It's a sort of Clockwork Orangey sort of type of film, and I don't like that sort of film anyway. I didn't enjoy it, so I thought I'm not going to waste my time and review it. So we're reverting back to horror for the last film this week. And it's not a prison film. It's I suppose there's elements of it in there, but we're looking at a Korean horror film called Gonjiam, and this is about a haunted asylum. So in a way, it's a kind of a prison because asylums can be reviewed as a prison. This is a psychiatric sort of asylum. So this is where patients with real bad psychiatric problems were held. Anyway, this edition has been released by Second Sight. I'll show you the edition. It's only just come out. It comes with a Blu-ray. It comes with a large booklet, which is really, really cool. And it comes with a various amount of art cards. Show you those. They're all sort of red and black in coloration. And of course the cover. Now, that goes that way. Now this film, it's a found footage film. Before we get into any more about it, let me show you a bit of information about the film. Give me a minute. Put my old Jim Royal glasses on, and we'll tell you a little bit of information about the film. Pronunciations will be wrong because it's Korean. So, Gonjiam. It's a Korean film from 2018. Certification of 15. It runs for 1 hour 34 minutes. Directed and written by Jung Bung-sik, starring Wee Hang-jun, Park Ji-young, and Moon Yi-woo, and cinematography is by Yoon Byung-ya. That's all. There's no music to say about the film because there's no music really in the film. Sorry for all my pronunciations, but I'm not the best at pronouncing English names, let alone Korean. So this film starts off. We've got these two lads. They run like a YouTube channel called Horror Time, I believe, and it's like all based on like horror things. And they meet up with these group of other guys who do camera work and these girls to do this live stream. And they meet. First of all, the film sort of starts off, and you meet them all, sort of all in this sort of like a cafe, all sort of meeting up and introducing each other and stuff like this. And it's very, very polite, very, very sort of like innocent, it seems, at the time. And then then you get a chance to meet the characters as they go and do a few wacky things. They go out for dinner, they go out to have a drink, and you see them, and they start sort of like messing around and mucking about. It's supposed to be character building, so you get to know the characters a bit. And then they do this sort of like extreme stuff, like not sport, but it's like, you know, the water, sort of extreme water sort of event, if you like. We got that big sort of inflatable sort of like a cushion, and you sit on it. Someone jumps on, and you go flying off into the water. They do all this sort of thing, and just sort of like bonding and stuff, which is fun, and it brings a little bit of sort of like fun to the film. There is some little bits of black comedy throughout the film, I think, and then you get the opportunity to get to know the characters as they're travelling there in their car, because the next thing you see, they're travelling in their car towards this old, deserted, abandoned asylum. So this asylum's been abandoned for many, many years. So I think from 1979, I think there was a mass suicide there and a mass sort of like killings going on at this asylum. Now, I don't know if it was done deliberately to get rid of the patients. It's not told. It's just said that in 1979 there was like a mass sort of like suicide and murder go on, where most of the patients were killed. Now, but then there's another sort of like urban story on there, like the actual asylum was built on a site where Korean soldiers tortured and killed Japanese soldiers years ago, probably wartime. Or if there was like a sort of civil war, I'm not sure. But anyway, it goes back to that time apparently, but that's all myth. And then they start talking about different ways how some of the people died there, like being hanged or stuff like this. And this mansion is now supposed to be haunted. It's supposed to be the most haunted place in Korea and the seventh most haunted place in the world. So they're heading off to this asylum. And then they reach like the site and they see it's all blocked off by the police. It's all been closed off. And so they found a secret way around. The guy knows a secret way around the back so they can get in. So they drive through this woodlands part towards the asylum. And then when they reach a certain part of the woods, they set up a tent. And now this is where they set up all their equipment for the YouTube channel. Like I said, it's going to be a live stream. So the guy, it's a quite big tent, so they set up all the computers and laptops and all this sort of thing all set up, and they got beds set up in there, and like they've got a backdrop of like horror time written in there. And so that was, they set it all up. And then a couple of guys head off towards the to the asylum. So the asylum is actually called Gonjiam, the name of the film. So a couple of lads go to Gonjiam and they set up a few sort of CCTV cameras up around in some of the rooms. And then they sort of head back and the group sort of like group up and then they all head off to Gonjiam at midnight back into this haunted asylum. Now, except the one guy who runs the actual the computer in the tent, and they call him Captain. So he's sort of like directing them. They've all got these weird sort of cameras on them with this fixed on sort of apparatus with a GoPro on it, so you can see their face reactions throughout the film. It's all shot in a sort of not first person view, but shot like it's filmed on a camcorder sort of view. But it's not a badly sort of like jiggy joggy sort of camera work. It's actually quite good, quite stable. But there is bits in the film where the camera sort of breaks up and you start thinking, is this the film? Is the film broken? But then you realise it's not. It's just that it's their cameras are supposed to happen. And so they all enter. They start heading towards the asylum, and then we see it for the first time. It looks a grim-looking building. You know, it does look like that sort of thing, without the red bits, obviously. It's a grim-looking building. So they head towards it, and they head into the asylum. So is it haunted? What are they going to find in there? Are they going to survive? Or are they all going to succumb to their end? And are they going to get the YouTube viewings that they want? They're after 1 million live streaming views, so they can get paid like about 500, whatever their money is, 500,000 sort of dollars, whatever it is they get paid for it. But that's what they're doing it for. So if they're going to survive, and if it's haunted, you need to watch it and find out. Because I'm not going to tell you any more. I'll set the film up for you to go and watch it. What do I think of Gonjiam? It's creepy as fuck. That's all I can say. It really is creepy. It's got so many elements of other found footage films in there. It's like a mixture of Blair Witch with sort of like grave encounters and paranormal sort of activities. All those sort of films all sort of combined. And it is absolutely creepy as hell. There's some really creepy, unsettling moments when they're in the actual asylum, and it's really, really cool. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good. Not the most original of films, but it's really cool because when I'm saying it's not an original films, it's because this sort of film's been done so many times and it sort of copies a lot of them, but it does it well. That's the thing. It does it really, really well, and it works because it is creepy. It's very atmospheric, and a lot of that's down to the lack of music. The only music in the film is when the guy adds some music to while they're walking around the asylum. He adds some music from his computer onto their live stream. But that's the only music in the film. But there's some really creepy shots because it's so dark and it's some really creepy imagery. It's almost like a really creepy, scary sort of video game in a way. It's really, really cool. Really enjoyed it. The pluses of the edition, it looks really cool. Looks really, really amazing. Um, it's it's quite well acted. We'll get to that bit in a minute. It's quite well acted and it's believable because it is like a group of sort of kids just playing around and trying to make this YouTube video, and it's really convincing of that. Um, it's really creepy. There's some creepy moments, um, and there is a few jump scares. The negatives of the film, there is no gore to speak of, um, but yeah, it could have done with a little bit of gore in there. Would have been really cool. And when I get back to the acting, the three female characters are totally annoying again, just because they are so loud. And if you've ever seen the Japanese film Battle Royale, with the female characters in there, where they all overact, the three in here overact too. Where the guys seem to keep their heads most of the time and act quite normal. The three girls really overact. I think they're playing for Oscars, I don't know, but they overact everything. They're so loud and it's just like, oh, just shut up. No, it gets that. But that's the only negatives about the film. So taking that away from the film, I'm going to score this an amazing watch and give it a 9 out of 10. Really, and if the acting was cool, with a little bit of good, a lot, I would have given it a 10 out of 10. It's that close to a 10 out of 10. But it was just a couple of bits that sort of like got to me in a bit, and I'm just thinking, nah, that's got to me a little bit. I'll go through the special features with you, what's on the disc. We've got audio commentary from Mary Beth McAndrews and Terry Mesnard. We've got Fear of the Unknown, Zoe Russell Smith on Gonjiam. We've got archive featurettes, The Beginning of the Rumours, The New Faces, The Sanctum of Horror, The Truth of the Ghost Store, the live recording and press conferences. And it's got some trailers. And it's got a 75-page booklet, and it's got 6 art cards. So pretty cool. And it was the first time I saw it last night, and I really enjoyed it, and it was really, really cool. I do recommend get it if you like sort of scary found footage kind of jump scary sort of films. I really do recommend it. Gonjiam, 9 out of 10. Any of you guys seen it? Let me know down below what you think of it. It's one of those films. It was when I saw advertised, and it was saying this is a Korean classic horror film. Really cool film. Really sort of like got a big cult following. I thought it's only been out since 2018, so I'm not sure how it's managed to do that, but I can see why. It must have come out in the height, and it must have become popular in the pandemic time because people couldn't go out. Maybe this was sort of like timed it right. I'd not really heard of it until then, and I thought, yeah, give it a go because it was a reasonable price for a collector's edition. Oh yeah, that's the reverse of the cover, and it was really, really enjoyable, really cool. It's not the pacing was pretty good. It wasn't that slow, and it wasn't that fast, so it was quite good pacing in the film. Quite enjoyed that as well. I think it was paced really, really well, really well done. Cool, worth checking out. Guys, till my next video, please check out Horror Hands, Horror Geek, Movie Film. RS Design, Pizzawell, I am Ice Lord Cat watches horror movies. Grumpy Andrew's Haunted House. A massive shout out to my lad. Sorry once again I didn't do Bronson. I just didn't enjoy it. I thought I'm not going to waste your time. I'm not going to be negative about a film because a lot of people like it, and a lot of people might start leaving me stupid comments and making me feel really bad about myself because I didn't enjoy a film. But I thought, no, I'm not going to waste my time reviewing it. I will watch something else, and so I watched that. See you soon, guys.